Hello everyone, I'm a Seogang University's English department student. I transferred to Seogang University 2 years ago. And when I got in this university, my English was really bad, so that I couldn't speak like this. Today, I want to explain on this video about speaking training tips from the beginners to the advanced level English speakers. Keep in mind that this video is not for the English study for improving a certain test score, but it's more about natural acquisition of English to get a fluency more than accuracy. Let's get started. Of course, I'm still on the intermediate level when it comes to speaking, but actually what I want to explain today is not from my opinion, but from my professor's opinion. I asked for advice how to improve my English speaking and listening skills. They gave me so many tips, for example, making a group study and writing English journal, which are quite popular methods, but there was quite interesting insight that I couldn't expect, which was just keep listening even without comprehension. Of course, you have to know, at the time, my reading skills was almost on the advanced level because I passed English transfer exam, which is known for horrible difficulty, and my TOEIC score was 910. However, I was absolutely not able to so-called free talking because I need to translate every single sentences in my mind from Korean to English, and I was not really able to understand the English lectures. It means my listening was also terrible. So the advice was very useful for my English journey to escape from the terrible habit. After that day, I started watching movies, which are the study topic of my classes. But if you watch this previous video, you might know that I don't really like watching movies and dramas. So, as I explained earlier, I just try to watch interesting content that I usually enjoy in Korean without clear comprehension. If there are two ways of English learning, the exposure with lower comprehension and study for clear understanding, you might think that the exposure is more useful for advanced level learners and study time is more for beginners. Surprisingly, it was absolutely the opposite. I want to emphasize that this is not the fastest way of learning English, but I would say this is the best way of getting fluency, like when you learn your mother tongue. It means it takes really long time. If you are the person like me, you should keep watching it, but if you just want to score, you better take private tutoring. Okay, so here are the tips for the people who want to acquire English for fluency. For the beginners, the time of exposure without understanding should be more than 80% of your total time for English. For the intermediate and advanced level, the amount of time for exposure gets shorter and that of the close study and research get longer. It depends on your level. Here's one principle that applies to both cases. You should do something that makes you get stressed. Because from my experience, study was less stressful at the beginner level. I don't know why exactly though. Maybe I can easily see my achievement day to day. As the opposite, exposure to English content is the easiest and even joyful activities for intermediate and advanced level. However, boring studies, for example, close reading, grammar correction, research, memorizing, are much more necessary for the intermediate and advanced level learners. That's it. That's all explanations that I've heard about like English acquisition tip, not just learning. So if you just want to get fluency like me, if you don't want to translate in your mind from Korean to English, but just speak out from English to English, you should follow this method. Thank you. I'll come back with another useful tips for English learning and acquisition. Thank you. Bye.